before we go on with this, Nigsy, your best 17, is the criteria the best at the time in the SG ball squads or what they went on to do?
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both, okay.
A little bit of both. I picked Fergo as a fullback. I picked Graham Lyons as a winger. I picked Garriola and Terry Hill, the two centres. And Paul Mellor just bumps out our mate over here, Mabo, the wing spot. I've got Phil Davis at 5'8".
So it's two blokes that never played NRL so far, Alan Ferguson and Phil Davis.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I've got Tugger at halfback. I've got Ian Roberts at one front rower. I've got Mario as a hooker. I've got Martin Marcella as the other front rower. I've got Joey Thomas, Shane O'Neill in the back row with Jimmy Dimmick at lock. And off the bench, we've got Jimmy Sedaris.
Played for Australia.
Darren Brown.
Well, Brownie was a hard trainer, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Skillful.
Yeah.
Never missed a beat training.
He was clever. I can remember Brownie when he went to Penrith, and they used him playing in the halves. He was that clever with the football. Yeah. Ello was very similar. Ello had a lot of good ball skills. Nathan Gibbs, who went on a captain's house, and always says that Phil Davis was his best.
So you break it up from 1 to 13, and your bench is covering position. So you're
I've got Sedaris
backing up Mario Fennick and other selectors onto the side. Okay,
and they're all the next in those positions, I think.
So
so I've got Sedaris, Brown, Nathan Gibbs, Mark Ellison, Klaus Perkovic, who could play anywhere, half 5'8" lock forward. Scotty Wilson, 5'8" or fullback. A lot of people would probably say, why Phil Davis? And I said, well, I think he's one of the best players I ever had. And there's probably several of these that all captain their teams. I'd nearly go for Phil Davis as a captain, and he never ever played first grade.
Well,
there you go.
I have spoken to Nathan Gibbs over the years, and he's clearly said hadn't played first grade and captained the club and been an Origin doctor, an Australian doctor, that Phil Davis is one of the best footballers he's ever seen.
And Arthur Gatuna says the same thing.
And I think Robert Sate from Mascot, who's a very good judge of football, says the same thing as well. So nearly every single person saw him play.
Number 20.
And I got Tony Merritt, number 20.
Tough front rower.
And tough. And yet, Tony ever got to play a few third grade games, probably because of his lifestyle a bit. Tony liked to just more or less hang with his mates rather than,
So if you don't pick Alan Ferguson as fullback, you could have played.
There's a bloke there that gets tossed up as one of the greatest South juniors of the last 30 years. Troy Stewart, ability-wise.
Terrific.
And what was he like?
Great bloke.
Yep.
Yeah. I left him out of a game too. And his mum had a go at me. We were playing Balmain, and they were right up there with us. I think we'd won 4 from 4, and we're playing Balmain at Leichhardt Oval. And Albie didn't arrive at train on a Friday evening. And it was either you ring me or you got to be there. I didn't get a phone call.
You got some rules for a Friday night captain's run, haven't you?
Well, you got to be there for it, mate. If you're not right to be there Friday night, you can't play Saturday afternoon.
You know.
And so anyway, we're playing Balmain. Troy's sitting on the bench, and the selectors are looking at me because we were battling. We were struggling. I think we went in at half time 10-all, and
the pressure was on Nigsy.
And old Ozzy said, "When are you going to put him on? When are you going to put him on?" And I said, "Not yet, not yet." Anyway, I thought, well, it's time now, Anyway, he went on and he set up a couple of tries for us, and we finished up winning by 10 or something, But Maybay's been through it. Maybay's been dropped a couple of times for probably being late or whatever, I remember Maybay being dropped from a Jersey Fleet team. And not that I was...
Well, we had to drop Maybay being late at Bunnies TV. We won't go there. But
a game or a season?
No, a game. Yeah. That was
really?
That was Maury Kay. Well, it was Maury that they... I shouldn't be saying this.
Well, there's plenty of coaches who get it wrong because look at...
Oh, you get it wrong.
Look at the Jersey Flag year. 1 year, I'm sure they dropped Paul Donnelly and Joey and Johnny.
And they played President's Cup.
They dropped Johnny Thomas and Paul Donnelly in a flag under-19s comp.
Yeah, and they played President's
And
Cup, and the President's Cup
and I
won,
think
and the flag got beat.
Frank Curry and Bull Gorman put him straight into the present. Put him in the 21s team, not a 19 side, and won the comp.
Well, they rung me to get Bull Donnelly's number at Botany.
Wow.
Cooko rung.
Tough player.
So we're
Bull
going
Donnelly.
through. So the
So
fullbacks
anyway-
you just missed out. You've got Albie Stewart, Greg Mackey, and obviously on the bench you already had Scotty Wilson, who could cover fullback as
Yeah.
well.
So, they're my next.
Yep. Your wingers went with Graham Lyons and Paul Miller,
Yep.
and the wingers that missed out were.
Mavo.
Yep.
Bruce Longbottom.
Yep.
Ross Harrington.
Wow. There you go.
Yeah.
Gary Eller and Terry Hill were your centres.
Yeah. Just in front of Paul Diaz. Not
Yep.
just in front. The
Eller and Hill were. Well, actually, both played for Australia.
standouts, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So 2 Australian centres in Gary Eller. You're not going to pick Mark Eller in your team? That's right, you didn't pick him. That's right, if you left him out.
No, we don't get
So
picked.
Paul
Didn't get a
Diaz,
start.
Robert Sate.
Robert Sate, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And Ricky Molan was a good, honest
Where's Ricky
Centre.
Molan from?
Waterloo.
Okay.
He's Tugger's age group.
All right, your 5'8" department, you went with,
Phil Davis.
and you named him captain.
I haven't named the captain yet, but he'd be very close to being the captain.
In front of,
David Knox, Wallaby.
Yep.
Tony Studden was a good player. A lot of people don't realise Tony Studden's probably one of the few players that played in a winning SG ball, played in a winning Jersey flag, and captained a winning President's Cup.
Bomber.
Bomber. The
Okay.
Bomber just, the thing that Bomber lacked was a yard in pace.
Okay. And you've still got Scotty Wilson and Klaus Perkovic on the bench too, so they could have been the next cab off the rank.
Yep.
Right, the halfback department.
This was hard. Like Tucker deserves to be picked, but you got Duncan McRae, Tricky, and George Longbottom.
Georgie Longwood hit a hole in one late last year.
There seems to be about 10 of them, unless he's reposting the same photo. Yeah, Georgie, okay.
Still goes all right, Georgie.
Front row department, who'd you go with?
The front row department, Ian's a standout, but the likes of Gary Ardler and Tony Merritt, when they were all the same age at SG Ball, they were every bit as good as Ian. But Ian, as you know, super trainer. Like nobody trained harder than Ian Roberts.
Yeah. The big rat, Gary Adler.
The big rat, yeah.
Right, what a legend.
Yeah, he was a good player. Like
What
Merritt.
a skill.
I've seen Gary Adler win Aboriginal knockouts. He was Arthur Beetson skill, wasn't he? He was that one-handed offloads around the corner and could belt.
I think Gary got named as one year when they picked a grade Indigenous side. I think he got named as a captain of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Loves the rabbits. The rat. Shout out to you, rat.
Yeah.
So be very proud of his big brother. Then he was special.
Yeah. I had a stack of hookers. Blokes like Sedaris, who's on the bench there behind Mario.
Jimmy Sedaris, he was a monster for a hooker. The neck on him was the frame.
And he was mobile.
Very mobile.
Very mobile. Like he could run out of dummy half and run 30 metres to score tries. And
So that 89 minor premiership winning side that Sedaris was in, he was only a
He got rookie.
17, turning 18.
He got rookie of the year in 1989.
Because his 89 was rookie of the year. Well, he was only
I don't think he ever played Jersey flag.
no, because
I think he went straight out of SG ball to South.
Yep.
That's not
Geordie
doesn't get
Peace
done
was
very much, yeah.
Geordie Peace was a good tough player. Like Geordie Peace played hooker. He's the same age as Garlow.
Okay.
And Garlow never made any SG ball or Jersey flag sides.
bit of a late bloomer.
Yeah. Because he was always small, Sean. He thickened up a little bit when he got to play a bit of third grade and that. But Geordie was a good player. He was a bit mad, but he was a good footballer. Shannon, I always had a rap on Shannon because he didn't play in great. Well, one side was all right, Duncan's side and Mellor's side was all right, but most of the sides he played in were average, and he was always a standout. Finno, who played with Tucker's side, was always a goer. Played probably 10 or 12 first grade games. Arthur was a good little goer. Arthur Katunis, you know. And one of the front rowers, John Sadiq, who played with Tugger and them. He only played a bit of third grade, but he was a real good President's Cup and fleeting ball player.
The Huntsman.
And you got Dennis Donahue there as well.
Dennis and Paul McNicholas, the praying mantis. Darren McCarthy could play centre or in the back row. Darren was always big and dangerous in teams, and cemented Gary Ross. But I could go on forever.
You coach some teams, mate.
I think you have gone on forever.